Howdy folks, and welcome back to another episode of World of Tanks with General Duck. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Patton KR. Patton KR is a Tier 8 American medium tank, premium, sees 8s, 9s, and 10s. Today I'm going to be comparing it to a couple other tanks and talking about the statistics of it, recommending equipment, and crew perks. Let's get started. I suppose we'll start off with some gun comparison. Okay. So, I've selected the T-54 prototype? Yes, the T-54 first prototype. Patton KR, the Super Pershing, the regular Pershing, and the T-34-2. Now, with the Patton KR, you can see it has 192 pen, 243 with APCR, and 45 with HE, 240 average damage, 0.38 dispersion. Across the board, that's pretty decent for dispersion. Let's straighten out all these and make them look nice and even. But it's not the best, but it's not the worst. The worst would be on the T-34-3, and the best would be on, surprisingly, the Russian gun. Rate of fire, the only one that beats it is the T-54 prototype. 7.41 compared to the worst being the T-34-2, which, honestly, they're all an extra half a shell a minute. They're all pretty similar. The Super Pershing has the worst pen, Patton KR has the best, but again, they're all very similar guns. So if you've ever played any of these guns, I mean the T-34-3 is the most radical out of all of them, as well as the Super Pershing. So if you've ever played a T-54 Mod 1, a regular Pershing, or a T-34-3 or a Super Pershing, the gun is going to perform very similar. If you've played the Super Pershing like that a lot, the gun is basically going to be the same thing with a lot more pen. Well, not really a lot, it's 22 more pen and 15 less with gold. But other than that, the guns are rather similar. So, moving on from there, I'm going to recommend some crew perks. For the commander, obviously recommend 6th Sense first, and then I'd recommend recon, and then brothers in arms. If you don't want recon, I'll be going over the equipment afterwards to explain why recon. If you don't want recon, then you could use concealment. For the gunner, this is actually an old crew. It's from my M7, and I put it on the Super Pershing to grind. I don't actually own the Patton KR. I recommend snapshot, concealment, and then brothers in arms. Actually, to save some time, third perk on all of them, brothers in arms. For the driver, smooth ride, and then off-road driving. Just to increase the mobility driving over soft terrain. For the radio operator, situational awareness, concealment, and then brothers in arms. And then the loader, the loader. Oh, I always recommend intuition on any tank's loader. Unless you're German or normally get ammo racked a lot, then safe stowage. But in my experience, the Patton KR doesn't seem to have a problem with getting ammo racked a lot. So intuition, concealment, brothers in arms. And then with the equipment, because I'm not going to be buying this tank because, well, financial reasons, I just equip it with my standard toolbox, binocs, camo net, just because I can switch them out through any tank in the garage. But equipment-wise, I'd recommend a vertical stabilizer, tank gun rammer, and either vents, probably vents once you get closer towards brothers in arms, or if you, whoa, vents, or enhanced gun length drive just to boost the aim time 2.4. That's not spectacular, but it's not terrible. You have 390 view range, and if you put on situational awareness and recon, that'll extend your view range, therefore opening up the chances of not having to use binoculars or coated optics. But if you don't want to use either of them, just put on coated binocs. The tank, as you'll see in future videos, it's not a scout, and it's not active enough for coated optics, but it's not as much of a sniper so that you necessarily are going to be sniping the entire time. So let's talk a little bit more about the entire statistics. 7.8 second reload on my tank, nothing but 100% crew, so you can get that down to about a 7-second reload just by putting on a shell rammer. The turret traverses at about 40 degrees per second, hull about 42. The gun has 10 degrees of gun depression and 20 degrees of gun elevation. With 100% crew, you have a 2.4 second aim time, 0.36 dispersion at 100 meters, and about 1800 damage per minute. You have 1,450 hit points. That's a bit above average for your standard medium tank at tier 8. You have 101 millimeters of hull armor and 101 of turret, 76 on the side, 50 on the hull, and 76 on the rear of the turret. Don't rely on the armor. It's nothing like this. It has the same armor setup as the Super Pershing, but don't rely on it. Don't trust the armor. The armor lies to you. Yeah, you'll be able to bounce some scouts. I mean, this thing will see tier 6s, which means you'll be seeing stuff like 59-16s, which basically have zero chance of going through from the front. But don't rely on it to bounce something like a T-34, T-32, or even a Mod 1. Mod 1 can easily rip one of these apart. In fact, I actually bought the Mutz over this tank because the Mutz has a much harder hitting gun and, well, faster rate of fire. Then again, I also have a gun rammer on it. First time I played it, I personally hated the Patton KR, and second time they brought it out, I fell in love with it. But, I don't know. We'll talk more about whether or not I recommend it to you or not later. Anyways, don't rely on the armor. It's thick enough to support you in case you come across a light tank, and that's about it. It's a 44-ton tank, 810 horsepower, giving 18 horsepower per ton. Top speed of 48 kilometers an hour. It's not overly fast. I've oftentimes struggled to get into position. I mean, it's no Super Pershing with single-digit horsepower per ton, but then again, it's no speed demon like a Mutz is, or an Object 416. It's more along the lines of a Mod 1 mobility with none of the armor. So it has a 20 kilometers an hour of reverse speed, which is pretty good. The tank overall isn't that great on camo, so don't rely on that either. I mean, I don't have any camo crews on it, so I'm assuming you can probably boost that. I mean, look at what the Mod 1 happened to. So you can probably easily boost that up to 20, maybe even 25, somewhere between 20 and 30. I'm guessing probably around same as the Mod 1. I mean, probably get it up to about 27% camo. Basically just enough so you can sit in a bush and not have to worry about being spotted all the time. So 390 view range, 777 signal range. That basically means you're able to scout for your team, you're able to show them where they are, but the tank is more of a flanking thing. So let's look at some replays. So here I am, spawned south spawn on mines. Yeah, mines. Tier 9 match. It's a decent match for Patton KR, I personally think. Just gonna... Like I said earlier, the tank doesn't have fantastic mobility, but in this case, it's enough so you can at least get into position to take the hill if you can. I'm not personally going for the hill right away. I'm just gonna sit here. This is like my favorite bush. Now I'm gonna take the hill. I only take one hit as I'm going up. And I notice there's a T-54 up here. So I load a gold shell. And what I didn't notice at the time is my team came up with me. So I load a gold shell and I go after him because I have a better rate of fire. He does better damage. I figured I might be able to win either way. And you'll see kind of a tag team from Patton KR is here. I'm not gonna lie, it is a good tank. I hated that the first time I played it, and the second time I got it, I fell in love with it. Here I'm gonna start working the ridge line. Even though the tank does have 10 degrees of gun depression, on maps like this I find having trouble trying to actually achieve that maximum gun depression. Or not really achieve it, but I find it's not enough. Basically, this tank is a flanking pesky monster from the bush. Hence why it's painted with a tiger. It's not a head-on tank, and it's not really fast enough to be a full-on flanking tank. So that's why you come into situations like this. You pop up around a corner, get a shell or two into them, back up. You let your team draw their attention, and then you pull up alongside of them and empty a couple shells into them, back up, and rinse and repeat. It's not as self-reliant, or I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It requires its team more than something like a Mod 1 or even a Mutz would. But you can easily pick up a fire for effect in this tank. The rate of fire is decent enough to support, or the rate of fire and the average damage is decent enough so you get some good battles. I don't have my ace tanker battle on replay. All I have are a couple first classes, so I don't actually have any ace tanker gameplay. But basically, my first class battles would have been ace tanker if I didn't make one final mistake. Here you see me shooting in the back of a T-32. The gun handles pretty decently. It's nothing spectacular. I mean, it's no French gun for accuracy. I mean, 4 minutes in, I've already picked up 2,000 damage. It's nothing spectacular, but it's certainly no piece of crap. And there's the kill on the Super Pershing. There we go. 2,500 damage. In this match, there's basically nothing else I really could do. The mistake that I make here is instead of going over here, I should have dropped down on that side and come up, drop down on this side and come up behind the Panther. Instead, you'll see me trying to work the ridge line. Here's the gun depression I was talking about. Yeah, no tank in the game has good enough gun depression for this. And there goes the Panther. That wasn't a great move. But then again, I'm going to be making this pretty much the same move myself. I get one more good hit on him, but in the same process I die. Not really like I could have gotten much more damage out of that either way. However, I was able to provide decent support for my team, and working this ridge line right here, I was able to just annoy the enemy tanks. That's pretty much your entire job in this tank, is to annoy them and distract them. Not really much else I can say about this replay, so let's look at some after battle results. So that was about the average battle you're going to have in a Patton KR. Well, not the average, that was a bit above average. I mean, it was a first class, bruiser, fire for effect, a little over 99,000 silver received and just under 2,000 experience received. I was second for damage on actually either team. I was actually top for experience, and I believe, yeah, I was tied for first in kills. I fired 14 shells, only one missed, so I hit 13 and 13 went through. 2,753 damage, about 2 shells were from over 300 meters. I received 4 hits, all of them penned. As I said, don't rely on the armor. I spotted 1 enemy tank, just damaged 7, killed 2, and I got 922 assisted damage. After taxes with a premium account, I pocketed 74,000 silver. This tank is pretty good at making money. So let's go take a look at another battle. So here you can see we've spawned on mines, south spawn yet again. I think they had it out for me this day because I got this map a whole bunch of times, and honestly, it's actually a great map for the Patton KR because it just performs so well on it with that hill being able to flank the enemy and this rock right up here so you can shoot them as they're going up the hill. Surprise, surprise, I'm most likely going to be playing this battle exactly the same. Push up here, stop the rock, take the hill, rinse and repeat. Or am I? Nope, not even going to stop the rock. I take a bit of damage, but I'm up on top of the hill. And there's the T-49. I try and face hug him, so any splash damage, any shot that he, well, if you face hug them, they normally have enough splash so they'll at least damage themselves. Here you can see he's trying to lure me out into his allies. I do a little bit, but I back up before I can get killed, and he charges me because I'm assuming he thinks he's gonna reload before I can reload. But, on bad news for him, I didn't. Or, yeah, he didn't. I reloaded before he did. You could say I probably shouldn't have taken the hill. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have. I also shouldn't have poken out and got shot by the M46. But here's more that you wait till the enemy gets distracted and then you poke out and just shoot as much as you can. Here you can see him trying to stay artillery safe. And now the Patton KR has basically positioned himself so anytime I poke out, I'm gonna get killed. No problem. He has a better gun than I do. Basically, I've just taken a tier 9 tank out of the battle. Granted, I've taken myself out of the battle, but I'd rather take a tier 9 tank out of the battle and have a tier 8 tank out of the battle on our team. Because, I mean, honestly, you're taking out a better gun. I've already picked up 2,500 damage. Like I said, this tank performs very well on this map. It carries a lot of shells. That's something I forgot to mention while I was in the garage, is the fact that this tank carries so many shells you would never really have to worry about running out. But a poor aim on myself there. Well, this map is pretty much perfect for this tank. Like right there, you could have, right here. 10 degrees of gun depression, and it's still not enough. I'm just trying to avoid getting shot by the T-25/2, who I know is camping up here. I mean, I don't know for sure, but where else would he be? That's where all the tank destroyers go. So here I pull myself up on a ridge, I give up, I just want to shoot him. Yeah, a bit of poor aim this match. I could have already had over 3,000 damage by now. There's a T-32, so I ducked behind the rock. This battle is very rinse and repeat compared to last battle. Take out a T-30. There he is. I told you he was over there. No shot on him. And, like I said, I make a couple mistakes, and it prevents me from getting an ace tanker. I mean, there I just got... I mean, I didn't have to sit here waiting. Either way, I still did a decent match, 2,800 damage or so. The Centurion 1 dies without doing anything, pretty much. And here you can actually see him platooned with thermite power. I forgot I platooned with him. But I don't really have to explain what happened this match because, I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same gameplay as before. You take the ridge, you shoot at the enemy. Pretty much as simple as that. You get spotted, you back up. Sixth Sense is very, very helpful in this tank because of the low camo rating. And it basically lets you know if they're looking at you, so you know when to back up and you save more of your hit points. Let's see what that battle was like. That match was a little bit above average. I mean, this is pretty much what you can expect from a Patton KR. I got a first class, bruiser, duelist, fire for effect, received 93,171 silver and 2054 experience. I was top for damage, kills, and experience on either team. I fired 16 shells, hit 14 and penned 2, did 2,868 damage. And again, I received 6 hits, all of them penned. You can't really rely on the armor. I spotted 2 enemy tanks, damaged 6, killed 3, and did 265 assisted damage. I received, after taxes, I pocketed 80,000 silver. This tank is actually pretty good at making money. So, let's wrap things up. So I think that about covers it all. Went over most of it. The Patton KR is basically just a flanking tank. I personally loved how much money it makes, but the tank is 8,700 silver. And for that kind of price, you can buy a Mutz for exactly the same price and actually get better turret armor and a bouncier hull with a lot more mobility. Or you could buy a Super Persian for much, much lower of a price. You could buy a Mod 1, which in pretty much everyone's opinion is a better tank, and it's only 50 gold more. You could buy a Super Pershing if you want that American grinding tank, and I mean, the Super Pershing, it's like 1,500 gold less. And you're getting basically the same tank with more armor and less mobility. Yeah. So, would I recommend buying this tank? No. I'd recommend buying the Super Pershing. Yeah, it's a good moneymaker, but if you're starting out as a medium tank player, it's not one you really want to play. As a sniper, I mean, I haven't played the Pershing. The T-69 is, well, much better tank. The Patton KR is more, I'd say it's more of like a 10,000 person, not a 10,000 personal rating, more like a 10,000 battles, then I'd consider buying it. I mean, I have just under 30,000 myself at this point, and I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna miss it. I mean, it's kind of a fun tank to play. If you're a tank collector, you're gonna buy it anyways. But I just feel, for your money, it's not really worth it. Yeah, it does make a whole crap load of money, but I enjoy my time more in a Mod 1 or even a Mutz. And the Super Pershing, I can make pretty much very similar money, and the tank costs a lot less and has same gun elevation, gun depression. The only thing you're sacrificing is a bit of a longer reload and less pen. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I really hope this video helped you out. If there's any questions, just leave a comment down below. And if you guys could share this video or my channel with your friends, I'd really appreciate it. My goal is to reach 100 subscribers. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Happy battles.